The desert wind howled like an old ghost across the empty plains as the evening sun bled red into the horizon. The stagecoach rumbled toward the dusty town of Redemption Creek, carrying a single passenger, a young woman with trembling hands folded in her lap. Her name was Clara Mayfield, and this was the first day of her new life. She had never seen the West before, only heard stories from letters and books, tales of lawless men, endless skies, and hope buried in the dust. Her heart raced as the coach slowed before the wooden sign that read Redemption Creek, population 43. She stepped out, clutching her small suitcase, her white dress gathering dust in the dry wind. She was here to meet her husband, a man she had never met, only written to through letters arranged by the church. He had signed his name simply as Eli Graves, a rancher, a man of few words and strong morals, or so the letter had promised. But when he appeared from the end of the street, tall as a mountain, broad-shouldered beneath a sun-bleached duster, she realized the letters had not told the whole truth. Eli Graves was no ordinary man. He was a giant of the plains, his shadow stretching long as the town's main street. His voice, when he spoke, carried like thunder, deep, calm, but filled with something wild. "You must be Clara," he said, removing his hat, his blue eyes steady on her face. She nodded, her voice barely a whisper. "Yes, sir. No need for sir. We're family now," he replied, offering his hand. His palm was rough, scarred from years of ranch work, but his touch was careful, as if afraid he might break something fragile. The townfolk watched in silence. They'd seen plenty of strange arrivals, but never a bride sent by mail to marry the loneliest man in the valley. Some said Eli was cursed, that his size and strength scared people away, that he lived alone because no woman could ever stand beside him without fear. As the two walked toward his horse-drawn wagon, Clara tried to calm her racing heart. The silence between them was heavy, but not unfriendly. She could feel him watching her out of the corner of his eye, studying her as if trying to understand what kind of woman would cross the country to live with a man like him. The wagon rattled across the plains, the sun sinking lower behind them. After a long while, she gathered the courage to speak. "Mr. Graves, I mean Eli, I want to thank you for taking me in." He kept his eyes on the road. "Didn't do you no favor, ma'am. You're here 'cause you needed a place. I needed someone who believed in home. Guess we both get something out of this." His tone wasn't cold, just honest, like the land itself. As night fell, they reached his ranch, a sprawling stretch of land fenced by endless horizons. The cabin stood tall and lonely under the starlit sky, a light flickering in the window. He helped her down from the wagon, then carried her trunk as though it weighed nothing. Inside, the cabin smelled of wood smoke and saddle oil. The furniture was handmade, sturdy and simple. A single painting hung above the fireplace, a portrait of a woman with the same gentle eyes as Clara's. She glanced at it.
"Your mother?"
He nodded. "She passed some years back. Only woman who ever kept this house alive." Clara lowered her gaze. "Then I'll do my best to honor her place." He looked at her then, really looked. For a moment, the hardened lines around his face softened. "You don't owe me that. Just be yourself. That'll be enough." There was silence again, broken only by the crackle of the fire. She set her small Bible on the table, smoothed her dress, and sat quietly as he poured 2 mugs of coffee. "You ain't used to this life," he said, sitting opposite her. "Out here it's rough. You'll hear coyotes cry. You'll see men who ain't got a scrap of decency left. But you keep your heart steady, Clara. That's how you survive." She met his gaze, finding courage in the way he spoke her name. "I'm not afraid of hard work," she said softly. I hope you won't regret sending for me." His lips curved, the faintest trace of a smile. "I don't regret much. Not when I can see someone trying to make something good out of the dust." Later, as the night deepened, Clara stood by the window, staring out at the moonlit desert. She thought about the life she'd left behind, the cold boarding house, the endless hunger, the faces of strangers who never cared to know her name. Out here, even the silence felt like a chance. Eli's heavy footsteps crossed the floor. You'll sleep in the back room. It ain't much, but it's safe. This place'll take time to feel like home, but I'll make sure you've got what you need." She turned, her eyes reflecting the firelight. "Thank you, Eli." He paused in the doorway, his voice low and honest. "You're innocent in all this, Clara, but this land, it changes people. It tests them. I'll do what I can to keep you safe from it." For a moment, the weight of his promise hung in the air like thunder before a storm. She watched him disappear into the next room, leaving her with the sound of the fire and her own heartbeat. Outside, a coyote howled. The ranch creaked under the breath of the night wind. Clara knelt by the bed, whispering a prayer she hadn't spoken in years, not for safety, but for strength, because deep down she knew something that Eli didn't yet. She hadn't come to the West just to survive. She had come to change her life, and maybe his. When dawn broke, she rose early, stepping outside as golden light spilled across the valley. The air smelled of promise and dust. Eli was already at the stables, his massive frame silhouetted against the rising sun. He looked up as she approached, a hint of surprise flickering in his eyes. "You're up early." "I couldn't sleep," she said. "Too much beauty out here to waste on dreams." He chuckled softly, tipping his hat. "Reckon you'll fit in fine after all." And just like that, the smallest smile crossed her lips, the first since she'd stepped off that stagecoach. The wind carried her laughter across the fields, and Eli, though he didn't show it, felt something stir deep in his chest, hope.